The night my life split in half started with a voicemail. I was sitting in the hospital parking garage with the engine off, hands still on the wheel, trying to remember how to breathe. The fluorescent light above my car flickered like it couldn't decide whether to stay on. I understood the feeling. On the passenger seat, my mom's knit blanket sat folded into a perfect square. I'd brought it from home so she wouldn't feel cold during chemo. It still smelled like her, lavender detergent and something softer underneath. The smell of safety, the smell of her. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. I was running on 4 hours of sleep and cold coffee, and I had nothing left to give the world, but something made me look at the transcription. Hi, Ms. Marin Cole. This is Patricia Dominguez with Aspen Ridge Title. We're calling regarding the closing documents for 1147 Hawthorne Lane. We received a request to change the wire instructions, and we need to confirm with you directly before we release the funds. My stomach dropped straight through the floor. 1147. Hawthorne Lane was my mom's house. My mom's house was not for sale. I called back before I even finished reading. Aspen Ridge Title, this is Patricia. This is Marin Cole. My voice came out steadier than I felt. You left me a voicemail about Hawthorne Lane. A pause. Careful. The kind of pause that means someone already told me this call would be difficult. Marin, are you somewhere private right now? I'm in a hospital parking garage. My mother is upstairs finishing her 3rd round of chemo. I don't know why I told her that. Maybe I needed someone to understand what kind of morning this already was. Why? Okay. Patricia's voice went quiet but steady. Please listen. We are scheduled to close on that property at 10:30 this morning. Someone presented a durable power of attorney claiming authority to sign on your behalf. They're insisting we wire the full sale proceeds to a new account today. The world slowed down. Who presented it? I asked. A Mr. Daniel Cole. My father. He hadn't called once during my mom's diagnosis, hadn't texted when she started losing her hair, or when she cried in my arms at 3 a.m. because she was scared and didn't want to leave me. Not once. But he could show up for her house. What's the new account? Beneficiary listed as Cole and Hart Consulting, LLC. Cole and Hart. My father and my half-sister Tessa. They'd started a consulting business that mostly involved expensive lunches and investor pitches that went nowhere. Patricia added, "They're also saying you're too emotional to handle paperwork right now, given your mother's illness." I let out a sound that wasn't quite a laugh. He's in your lobby right now? Yes, with a woman who introduced herself as your stepmother. My father always brought a witness, someone to nod and echo whatever version of reality he was selling that day. Do not wire anything, I said. Freeze the file. We have not released any funds, Patricia promised. But you need to come in today and sign a fraud affidavit. If you don't, the document may stand long enough for them to move the money. I'll be there in 1 hour, I said. When we hung up, I pulled the small spiral notebook from my glove compartment. I'd kept it there for 3 months, ever since my mom's diagnosis. Writing things down was the only thing that made me feel like I still had some control. Aspen Ridge Title, Patricia Dominguez, 7:02 a.m., POA presented by Daniel Cole. Wire change to Cole and Hart Consulting, LLC. Closing 10:30 a.m. Fax, paper, proof. That's what I had. I went upstairs to say goodbye to my mom before I left. She was asleep, thin as folded paper, mouth slightly open. Her head was wrapped in the soft blue scarf I'd bought her in October, the one she said made her look like a stylish pirate. Even like this, there was something beautiful about her that had nothing to do with how she looked. I watched her breathe. In and out. The anger in my chest turned into something sharper, something cleaner. Not rage, protectiveness. I leaned down and kissed her forehead. I'll be back soon, okay? Her eyelids fluttered. Marin? I'm here, Mom. She opened her eyes halfway, still half in a dream. I had a strange dream. Your dad was in the kitchen, taking things out of the drawers. My chest tightened. It was just a dream. Her eyes went shiny. He always wanted what wasn't his, she whispered, even when we were married. I wrapped both hands around her cold fingers. I won't let him hurt you. I promise. She smiled, small, tired, completely real. I know, she said. You never do. I should have driven straight to the title office. Instead, I drove to Hawthorne Lane. His truck was parked at the curb. Silver, new, with a golf club parking pass on the rearview mirror. My stomach turned. The front door was unlocked. My mom never left the front door unlocked. She checked it twice every night, her whole life. The fact that it sat open now felt like a violation before I'd even stepped inside. Voices. Too loud. Too comfortable. My father stood in the living room in a pressed button-down, holding a folder like a weapon. Tessa sat on the couch with her legs crossed, sipping an iced coffee like this was brunch. Her hair was freshly curled, nails glossy. The cream blazer she wore probably cost more than my car payment. She smiled when she saw me, a perfect, empty smile. "Marin," she said, sweet as something rotten, "you look exhausted." "I've been sleeping in a hospital," I said. My father's face hardened. "You should be there now, not here." "And yet," I said. He pulled a document from the folder and held it up. "We have a valid power of attorney. It grants me authority to manage assets. Your mother agreed to this." I didn't touch it. I leaned in just enough to read the name at the top. It had my name, not my mother's. Mine. He wasn't claiming my mother had authorized anything. He was claiming I had signed over her house while she lay in a hospital bed. "Show me the date," I said quietly. He pointed. Smug. January 9th. I didn't need to check my phone. January 9th was the night my mom's fever spiked to 104 and the ICU nurses wouldn't let me leave the hallway. I sat in a plastic chair until 5 a.m., waking every 40 minutes to make sure she was still breathing. "There is no way I signed this," I said. "You were overwhelmed," he said smoothly. "You agreed I should handle things." Tessa tilted her head. "We're not stealing anything. We're moving the money somewhere safer, properly managed." "Into your LLC," I said. She didn't flinch. "It's a business account. It's cleaner." I looked at her, the blazer, the iced coffee, the designer bag at her feet. Cleaner for who? My father stepped closer, lowering his voice in that way that had always been warning, not gentleness. "Marin, stop. You're not well. You haven't been for months. You're not thinking clearly. Unstable, his favorite word. He'd used it on my mother for years before she finally left him. He used it on anyone who pushed back. It didn't require proof, just needed to be said confidently enough for other people to start wondering. My cheeks burned. For 1 second, I wanted to scream. I didn't. "I'm calling the police," I said. He laughed. "For what?" "For trespassing and forgery." His smile disappeared, voice dropping into something almost tender, which was always when he was most dangerous. "Think about your mother, her last months. Do you want to fill them with court dates and depositions? Do you want to spend whatever time she has left dragging her through all of this?" The cruelty of it hit me like cold water. He was using my love for her as a leash, pointing it right at me. I lowered my phone. Not because he'd won, because I was choosing my timing. "Fine," I said quietly. "I won't call from here." His shoulders loosened. "But I am going to the title office," I continued, "and I am putting everything in writing. Then you can explain your help to a prosecutor." His face twitched. Just once. Just enough. I walked out shaking and cried the whole way to my car. Silent tears that blurred the road. Not because I was weak, because it hurt to understand, completely and finally, that he hadn't been waiting for my mother to get better. He'd been waiting for her to disappear. Aspen Ridge title smelled like lemon cleaner and printer ink. Patricia met me at the front desk, sharp-eyed, hair pulled back. When she saw my face, something in her expression shifted. Not pity. Recognition. She led me to a conference room. The power of attorney was on top of the stack. "Who notarized it?" I asked. "Julia Hernandez?" Of course. Julia worked at my father's office. I'd met her once at a holiday party. She called him Mr. Cole, the way people do when they've mistaken charm for character. "What proof do you have that I signed it?" "A scanned driver's license and a notary stamp." I nodded. Then I opened my phone and slid it across the table. A photo taken at 2:13 a.m. on January 9th. My mom's hand in mine. Her hospital bracelet clearly visible, her IV taped to her arm. My thumb caught in the corner of the frame the way it always was because I never remembered to move it. Patricia stared at it. Her jaw tightened. That's strong. It's the truth, I said. I laid out everything else. Hospital visit summaries with timestamps, doctor notes, my name on the emergency contact form, my signature on the overnight visitor log. 3 months of paperwork. 3 months of showing up. Spread on the table like a map of my life. The door opened. My father walked in, my stepmother at his side, her face arranged into practiced concern. "Marin," he said warmly. "We're just here to help." Patricia's voice sharpened. "Mr. Cole, you cannot be in this room." He ignored her. "She's grieving. She's not thinking clearly. We're her family." The compliance officer stepped through the door behind them. "Sir, step out now." My father looked at me one last time. Voice soft, almost gentle. "You're choosing this, Marin." "I'm choosing my mother," I said. He held my gaze for a long moment. Then he turned and walked out, my stepmother following like a shadow. When the door closed, my knees went soft. Patricia sat beside me. "You did the right thing," she said quietly. My hand shook as I signed the affidavit. I signed it anyway. By noon, the file was frozen and law enforcement was involved. Within 2 weeks, the county prosecutor filed charges: forgery, attempted theft, notary fraud. Julia Hernandez's commission was suspended pending investigation. My father called 17 times. I didn't answer once. His voicemails moved through stages. "This is your fault. You're destroying our family. Your mother would be ashamed." The last one was quiet, almost tender. "Marin, I'm still your dad." I deleted it without finishing. My mom passed away on a Thursday at 4:18 in the morning. I was holding her hand. I had been awake for 30 hours, but I didn't feel tired. I felt hyper-present, every sense turned all the way up, the world gone completely still. When her breathing changed, I moved closer. I held her hand in both of mine and watched her face. When it stopped, the room didn't feel empty. It felt complete, finished, like a sentence that had finally reached its period. I kissed her forehead. Her skin was already cooling. "You're safe now," I whispered. "I've got it." After the funeral, I went back to Hawthorne Lane alone. The door swung open to the same smell, old wood, her plants, the faint trace of lavender. The house was quiet in the way that only houses can be when the person who made them a home is gone. I stood in the living room and cried the way I hadn't let myself cry in months. Loud, ugly, full-body grief that bent me in half. I cried for her. I cried for every hour in that waiting room. I cried for the version of our life where none of this had ever happened. When I finally straightened up, I walked to the kitchen. She kept important documents in the drawer to the left of the sink. She always had, my whole life. I opened it. Tucked beneath an envelope of old receipts was a folded piece of paper. Her handwriting. Shaky the way it had been toward the end, but unmistakable. "Marin, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer. Promise me something. Don't shrink your life to make room for people who tried to take it from you. You fought for me. Now fight for yourself. Protect your peace, even when they call it selfish. Especially then. I am so proud of you. I have always been so proud of you. Love." Mom. I sank to the floor right there in the kitchen, letter pressed to my chest, and I finally understood something I had spent years trying to figure out. Keeping the peace had never meant peace. It meant staying quiet while someone hurt you so they could stay comfortable. It meant offering your own bones as a bridge so others didn't have to step carefully. It meant swallowing your pain and calling it love over and over until you forgot what the pain even felt like. Peace built on silence isn't peace, it's surrender. So, yes, I pressed charges. Not for revenge, not to win, because I wanted the truth on record, because my mother spent 30 years being called too sensitive, too dramatic, too emotional, and she deserved at least one piece of paper in the world that said, no, what happened to you was real, and someone answered for it. Because sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for the people you love is to stop pretending that the word family is a free pass to cause you harm. She taught me that, even at the end, especially at the end. If you've ever been called dramatic or unstable just for telling the truth, I see you. Would you have pressed charges too? Tell me in the comments.